In this video, we will be solving turbulent flow in a pipe using ANSYS Fluent. We will be taking all the procedure like creation of geometry, meshing, various aspects of meshing, the boundary conditions and solution methods and all other settings given in ANSYS Fluent, and also different types of result that can be taken. So basically we have a pipe with three diameters, 70 mm, 40 mm and 90 mm, and the mass flow at inlet is 0.38465 kilogram per second. The mass flow rate is selected such that the flow remains turbulent throughout the pipe. So the Reynolds number at the inlet section of the pipe is 7000, at the middle section it is 12250, and at the outlet section it is 2420. Our fluid is water with a density of 1000 and viscosity of 0.001 kilogram per meter second. This is the ANSYS workbench window. Here we can drag and drop the fluent box inside the workbench space. So basically we will be creating the geometry design modeler. So this is the design modeler window. First thing we have to do is a selection of units. So I am selecting millimeter as our unit. The first step to create the geometry in design modeler is the selection of plane, in which plane you want to create the geometry. So I am selecting XY plane. This is the sketch icon, new sketch icon. So a sketch will be created inside the XY plane. You have to select the sketch one and go to sketching. And this is the look at face option to make the plane look normal. I'll be using line option to create the geometry. I'll first create the overall shape of the geometry. Then we will provide the dimensions. So whenever we draw the sketch, if there is a V or H, it denotes it is vertical or horizontal. So this line is vertical since it is showing V. So we had created the overall structure of the geometry. So I will go to dimensions and select general. And also I will select horizontal dimensions to select the dimensions between these two. And these two. And also vertical to give the dimensions between these two. Okay. This section is 100 mm. This we can take 40 mm. 100. This is 35. We had created a closed geometry. So there is no open gaps. This is a closed geometry. This can be used for 3D operations. So I am going to select a revolve option and apply the sketch and also select the axis. This will be the axis of rotation. Okay. So if we click on generate, our geometry will be created. Name this as a domain. You can give a name whichever you like, and you have to make this as a fluid. Okay. So again click on generate and close design mode. So basically in CFD we have to create the flow domain. It means that if you are going to solve a flow inside a pipe, you have to make the area where the flow is happening. Okay, that is the inside volume of the pipe. This is our ANSYS workbench mesh window. If you click on the mesh and generate, a basic mesh will be created. So you can see this is a basic mesh. If you want to create a tetrahedral mesh, I am going to create tetrahedral mesh. So I am going to insert a method and select this geometry. Select tetrahedrons. Okay. So if I generate it again, now the mesh created is of tetrahedron shape. Next I will insert an option called inflation. I will select this body and using control options I will select the faces. These walls I will select first and give apply. If I generate it again, you can see 5 layers is coming near the wall. Okay. So why it is important is, near the walls we have to give very fine meshing in CFD to resolve the area near the wall. Okay. So I will show inside of the mesh. Here you can see section plane. Near the wall there is 5 layers forming. Okay. Again, going to the inflation box, you can see there is an option called first layer thickness. First layer thickness means, suppose I give 0.1 mm as first layer thickness and number of layers is 10. Okay. So if I generate the mesh, an inflation is forming which is having a first layer thickness of 0.1 mm. Okay. You can see from the scale it is 0.1 mm. I will tell you why it is important. Okay. I will open this image. You can see in the case of turbulent flow, there is a viscous sublayer, buffer layer, and then a fully turbulent region. If you are completely resolving the area near the wall, up to the wall, we have to give very fine meshing, and the cells should be placed inside the viscous sublayer. Okay, wall y plus is a non-dimensional number which can be used for any geometry. So whenever the wall y plus is less than 5, it signifies the area of viscous sublayer. Okay, so we have to give the first cell height within this region. I will explain. You can open the website for wall y plus calculator. That is point-wise website. Here you can see I had entered density as 1000, viscosity as 0.001, corresponding to water. For the pipe near the inlet, the diameter is 70 mm. Okay, 70 mm, and we have a velocity of 0.1 meter per second, and the Reynolds number is 7000. So I am going to enter the velocity as 0.1 mm. Diameter is 70 mm and compute. Okay. So you can see the Reynolds number is 7000. So if you enter wall y plus is equal to 5 and calculate, we can calculate the viscous sublayer height. Okay. So it is, the viscous sublayer is up to 0.8 mm, 0.825 mm from the wall. Whenever we are completely resolving this region up to the wall, we have to resolve it at wall y plus is equal to 1. For wall y plus is equal to 1, the first cell height should be at 0.165 mm. Okay, I will increase the velocity by 20% and give wall y plus is equal to 0.95, so that our first cell height will remain well below y plus is equal to 1. So that distance is 0.13 mm. So if we give first cell height as 0.13 mm, it generally means that the first cell height will be at 0.13 mm, and there will be enough number of cells within this viscous sublayer. Viscous sublayer is up to what? Viscous sublayer is up to y plus is equal to 5. Viscous sublayer is up to 0.82 mm. So if we again open the mesh, you can see there are enough number of cells inside the viscous sublayer, that is 0.82 mm. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, around 4 or 5 cells inside the viscous sublayer region. Okay, here you can see, and the viscous sublayer is up to wall y plus is equal to 5. We have at least 5 cells inside the viscous sublayer, and it can be completely resolved. There are actually two types of approach in CFD. One is a near wall model approach, where we resolve up to the wall giving enough number of cells in the viscous sublayer, like calculating wall y plus less than 1. And another approach is wall function approach. In that, we will place the first cell outside the wall y plus is equal to 30. Okay, we will basically keep that greater than wall y plus is equal to 30, and up to you can keep wall y plus is equal to 300 for some wall functions. There are different wall functions available in ANSYS Fluent. In this video, we are completely resolving the one. The other approach I will take in another video. If you are going to do a research work, or if you want to calculate the body forces like airfoil, etc., separation, flow separation, etc., we have to go for a near wall model approach. And you are going to solve an HVAC case of flow inside a room. In that case, we don't need a near wall approach because we are not interested what happens near the wall. We are interested in the overall flow inside the room. So in the first section, the Reynolds number is 7000 and velocity is 0.1. Here we have a first cell height of 0.15 mm. Okay. So moving on to second section, we have a velocity of 0.30625 meter per second and a Reynolds number of 12,250. So we have to check that also. And diameter is 0.04. Here we have first cell height of 0.05 mm for wall y plus less than 1. So it is much lesser than the value calculated for the first section. And we have to take whichever is minimum. So I am just going for the third section. Third section, the velocity is 0.0605 and the Reynolds number is 2420. Here we have a value of 0.25 mm and a Reynolds number of 5444. Here we have a little mistake. Here the Reynolds number is 5444. So in the middle section we have the lowest first cell height for wall y plus is equal to less than 1. So I am entering that velocity 0.30625. Diameter is 40 mm. So calculating it, we have first cell height of 0.05. So in the meshing, we have to give it as 0.05, and I am giving maximum number of layers is equal to 50. And updating the mesh. Here you can see the overall number of elements is 29,000. And to check the quality, we have to check the skewness and aspect ratio. So aspect ratio here is maximum 387. We can reduce the aspect ratio by giving face sizing to these faces. So I have given a 6 mm face sizing. Here you can see the aspect ratio has been reduced to 207. So it is better to keep it below 600 in the geometry. Then we will go for checking skewness. Skewness is actually 0.77, and you can give it should be less than 0.9 for a CFD simulation. If you want to again reduce the skewness, you can enter target skewness. I will give 0.65. And also restrict the overall element size to 10 mm and also give edge sizing to these edges. So this is what we are getting, a skewness of 0.65 and maximum aspect ratio of 171, and the total number of elements is 4 lakh. So this can be good and we can solve this thing. So next step is providing the name selection for boundaries. So I will select the face filter and right click on the inlet and create name selection, give inlet. And this one will be our outlet. And this will be walls. and these will be our walls. So after that, you have to click update. It will show mesh translation to Fluent was successful. So we can close the meshing and save the workbench. Next, open the setup. Click on a double precision. Double precision is always required in almost 99% of the case. We use single precision for very simplified flows. All other flows, whichever flows you are doing, use a double precision because the accuracy is much higher. So I will click on start. So this is the Fluent window, and you can see the arrow mark. This is inlet and this is outlet. This is the Fluent window. We have to go from general to run calculation, filling all the criteria to solve the CFD case in Fluent. So basically in general we can see two options. One is pressure based solver and another one is density based solver. So pressure based solver is generally used for incompressible flows, and also it can be used for compressible flows, but generally we use for incompressible flows. And density based solvers are used mainly for compressible flows like combustion flows involving shock waves, supersonic flows, etc. We will be solving this case as a steady state case. There will be no effect in there will be no effect of gravity because this pipe is placed horizontally on the ground. So I will ignore the gravity, solve it as a steady state case, and use pressure based solver. Pressure based solver is a steady solver, and it gives you many sub options in solution methods that I will explain in deep in another video. In models you can see if you are going to solve a multi-phase, you can click it on. If you are going to do heat transfer analysis, you can switch on the energy equation. For solving laminar flow, you can select this laminar. Otherwise, you can select any turbulence model. So in this case, I am going to select K-epsilon model. It is one of the first developed turbulence model, and inside it, the advanced version called realizable K-epsilon model is there, which I am going to use for solving this case. In this, we can see enhanced wall treatment. It is generally used when our wall brightness is less than 1, and that means we are completely resolving the area near the wall. Up to the wall we are resolving. So I am selecting realizable K-epsilon model with enhanced wall treatment. If you are selecting non-equilibrium wall function, your wall brightness should be around 30 to 300. Okay, so it varies with different wall treatment. I am giving it OK. The next is materials. So I am going to add water. The Fluent database water liquid. Click on copy. You can change the properties to 1000 and 0.001, that is used for our calculation. And in cell zone conditions, you have to apply water inside this domain. By default, it will be air. I am going to change it to water. Okay. So coming on to boundary conditions, if you name anything as inlet in mesh, automatically velocity inlet will be selected. But in this case, we can give velocity or mass flow rate. So we have the mass flow rate value, mass flow inlet. I will give the mass flow rate value directly. Our mass flow rate is 0.38465 kilogram per second. So direction normal to boundary, so it will enter normally. I will select turbulence specification method as intensity and hydraulic diameter. Our hydraulic diameter is 0.001 meter. For outlet, I am giving pressure outlet with a value of 0. That means atmospheric condition. Gauge value is equal to 0. I am changing this to a hydraulic diameter of 0.09 meter. So you can see in operating conditions we have given 101,325 Pascal as our atmospheric pressure. Okay, so I am closing this. This is all about boundary conditions. Next we go to solution methods. Here by default you can see coupled method is selected, and we can select green ghost node based method because this mesh is unstructured tetrahedral mesh. And pressure, if you want to select presto, it is okay, because there can be some kind of vortices, etc. This method can better perform in such cases. And for momentum, etc., you can select first or second order. Okay, in monitors you can set the target like 1 into e raised to minus 5 for continuity. Okay, so I'm selecting 1 into e raised to minus 5 for continuity and giving it okay. If you want to create another monitor, you can create it. Like I'm creating a pressure monitor. Next is initialization. I will click on an hybrid initialization. I am going to enter 20 iterations. Here you can see if I click on calculate, the calculation will start and it will stop at the 20th iteration, or it will stop if our convergence target is achieved. Actually, we have given the convergence target for continuity as 1 into e raised to minus 5, and for all others 1 into e raised to minus 3. Here you can see this is the residual graph. This is our monitor. For continuity, now the residual value is 9 into e raised to minus 1, that is 0.9. And for xyz velocity, it is 7.6 into e raised to minus 3, 2.1 into e raised to minus 3, 1.8 into e raised to minus 3, etc. And for k and epsilon, it is 5 into e raised to minus 2 and 1.8 into e raised to minus 1. This is our outlet pressure monitor that is showing a value of 0.1 Pascal. Now 20 iterations are finished, but our target is not achieved. So we have to give another 500 or 1000 iterations. So I am giving more iterations. So we had got a converged solution at around 733 iteration. You can see the continuity target has been achieved, that is 1 into e raised to minus 1, and all other residuals are well below the target. And in between 500 and 600 iteration, you can see a spike here. Here what I did was I changed the turbulence model. You can see I changed the turbulence model from K epsilon, realizable K epsilon equation, to SST K omega equation, which is a better equation if you are completely resolving the wall, that is wall y plus less than 1. Okay. And you also need to check the wall y plus what you are getting after the solution. So for that you have to go to contours and check turbulence wall y plus on the wall. And you can see the maximum value is coming 1.16 and minimum value is 2.2 into e raised to minus 2. Here there is a small area where the wall y plus is greater than 1, but it is not an issue. We got a converged solution, and now what we have to do is we have to go and check the results. And also we have one monitor. You can see the monitor is almost stable after 700 iteration, and the value of pressure, outlet pressure, is not changing, and that value is 2.2 into e raised to minus 1 Pascal. So I am closing Fluent and going to open the results. So this is CFD post processor in ANSYS, and here you can create a location like plane, like XY plane, which will divide the geometry into two, like this, and go and create the contours. This is the contour option. Give location as plane 1. need a variation of velocity also. So you need to give further fine mesh to again get more refined results. Like you have to do mesh independent study. Also, you can take the vectors if you want to see how that was behaving. In the outlet section, we have a recirculation due to this geometry enlargement. That is what is making that convergence little bit harder. Also, you can calculate the various value of pressure, like average area inlet pressure. You can calculate that is 45 Pascal, and outlet area, outlet pressure also you can calculate. So it will give you the pressure loss. For pressure loss, you have to take total pressure and average area inlet minus outlet total pressure. So you will get the value of pressure loss in this case. Create YZ plane. So this is happening here. We can create a plot. So you can see how the velocity varies, and near the wall the velocity is 0 and it is gradually increasing. So we can do various validation work also. So this is a general introduction video in CFD. We will be giving you a more detailed approach to how to select the wall function, how to mesh near the wall in detail, like how to select the solution methods, how to select different turbulence model. That and all will be explained in detail in coming videos. So please subscribe to our channel to get updates on further videos. Thank you.